Okay, so
sorry, I was trying to do
you nailed it.
We had a band thing going, guys.
We did. Starting a band.
I'm a backup singer tonight. You just wait. Welcome to another episode of Talk to Me on the Joy FM podcast. Hey, I'm Jules. It is no secret that Colton Dixon has had quite the busy year, but we were able to snag him and chat about his hair. Oh, and of course, other interesting things like when he's pulled in so many directions, how does he determine what gets his yeses and nos? I'm a little concerned and I'm not really sure why, but I also think I agreed to let him cut my hair. Colton, thank you for coming in and talking with me.
Yes, thanks for having me. It's going to be so much fun.
It is. I do need to know, your hair is amazing.
Thank you.
Yes,
Appreciate that.
Really is. I have a suggestion.
Okay.
If you're ever done with the music thing, you need to be a hair model.
Hair model? That's the
Yeah.
first time I've ever been told that.
No way.
Way.
I mean, you know, when you're going to get a haircut and they have like magazines or whatever and you're flipping through it and you're like, that looks so good, but if I go home, it's not going to look that good. That is you. You are a hair model.
I can attest to that. Anytime I've ever gone in with a picture, I never look like the picture. Mm-hmm. I feel like probably because like the guy modeling the haircut is like Brad Pitt, you know, and you're always disappointed. It's like, man, I don't quite look the same. The barber's like, yeah.
What do you do? Like, I need to know, what's your morning look like? Do you do it yourself?
I bleach my own hair. I cut my own hair. I kind of have learned to do it all.
You do it all?
I do it all. Yeah. So if you ever want this haircut, I know a guy.
Can you dye my hair? Because that could save me a lot of money.
I can.
I mean, especially with inflation right now and the prices.
It's brutal.
All right. So if you can come to my house later.
Okay.
I need my roots touched up.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll stop by. What is it? Sally's. Pick up some bleach.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, we'll talk about that later. Okay. I'm going to take a really hard left turn. If you're ready, buckle up. It's going to get real.
All right.
You know, as a parent, I know you have two sweet little twins.
I do. Yes.
There are memories that it's so interesting because these memories are not ones that are like the big expensive ones, the big family vacations, the big blah, blah, blah. It's the simple memories that I'm just like, I just want to hold on to this and never forget what it feels like. Do you have?
Yeah. The first thing that came to my mind, it was a little over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. Their names are Athens and Dior. And little Dior looked up at me and said, "Dada, you're a really good dada." And I could sob thinking about it right now. It's just the sweetest little moment I had with my daughter. And like being a dad's crazy, right? Because it's so, the highs are really high. The lows can feel like the lowest place you've ever been in your life. And it's everything in between. But it's like those moments make you forget about all the hard things or all the crazy things about being a parent. So it's like, you're right. It's not the crazy expensive vacations or whatever. It's those sweet moments where you're just being present that really like shine through and pop through. So that was like the first thing that came to my mind. Yeah.
You just got to like store it away so you don't forget that feeling.
I know.
And where you were and the baby voices.
Oh my gosh. The little voices, they still pronounce things wrong at, they're almost 4 and I'm like, pronounce it wrong forever. It's the cutest thing in the world.
When my oldest would see a skyscraper, she would call them castles. And she thought princesses lived there. And the teacher that corrected her and told her, like, no, they're skyscrapers. I wanted to be like,
hate that person. Just kidding. We don't hate people, but really
because
just like that
Jesus.
person strongly. Yeah.
Jesus told us we can't hate her.
That's right.
But if he didn't, that would be the first on my list. You know what I mean? All right. So that brings me to my next question. So you are a full-time recording and touring artist. You have music coming out all the time and you tour for a living. You make occasional appearances on American Idol.
Every once in a while, yeah.
And you do all of this while having a wife and a three-year-old twin girls at home. I got to catch my breath just saying all the things you've been up to. And I know your time is precious. So how do you decide what gets your yeses and what gets your nos?
Man, it's a great question. And It's something that we take thing by thing. It's a lot easier before kids. My wife would travel with me all the time, so it was easier to say yes to things because I knew home was coming with me, right? But now I know when I say yes to an opportunity, be it music or, Idol or whatever, I know I'm kind of saying no to being at home with my family. So it's something that my wife and I pray about. And anytime a tour comes up, I'll always run it by her. And I'm like, hey, what are we thinking? Great opportunity, but also I love you guys and love being here. So, but I also want to fulfill the call that God has on my life. So, if something ever isn't sitting right with us, we pass on it and we see what else God has for us, but it's something that we try to be intentional about. Don't always get it right. It's easy to get caught up in this lifestyle and trying to say yes to as many things as you can. But we do try to be intentional about that and pray together on that. And it's served us well so far.
Colton, that you said when my wife was with me, I was bringing my home.
Yeah.
That was sweet.
It's funny. My wife has spent some time with her parents when I do a lot of traveling. And so occasionally I'm back at our place in Nashville by myself. And I realized so quickly, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just a shell of a building without my family here. Like, it's just so empty. I feel empty, like something's missing. And then on the flip side, I realized no matter where we are, but when I'm with my wife and my kids, it just feels whole. It feels like home can be anywhere. So it's just kind of that safe place. Mm-hmm. I'm thankful for that. And I think that's the way God designed it as well. So, yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're right. This is a ministry that God has called you to. Mm-hmm. But God's also called you to be a dad and a husband. Yeah. And I love that you are going into it with that mindset. Yeah.
It's really difficult to get those priorities right. It's like deep down, I know it's God first, it's husband, dad second, and it's ministry third. And it's really easy, especially to get those last two mixed up. So I'm thankful for my wife. She helps me keep those in check, keeps my feet on the ground. And we try to do the best that we can.
So can we now talk about Up and Up?
Let's go.
Let's do it. The line when I was listening to this song that just was like, wow. It says, God, I know the plans you have for me when my cup is overflowing. So while I'm in the in-between, I'm going to live my life knowing.
Yeah.
What have waiting seasons looked like for you, and what truths have helped you through them?
Great questions, first of all. Good job. This is amazing. That's one of my favorite parts of the song as well. So I'll start with, the song comes from Jeremiah 29:11, which says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, to give you hope and a future." I think we've all had a period of our lives where we've been in that waiting season, right? Where we're not quite sure what God has for us or what life is going to throw at us. We're just in the waiting. But God gave us promises in His Word that we can stand on in that process. So what I mean by that pre-chorus is, I know what His Word says. I know what He's promised me. So even though I can't see it right now, I'm going to stand on that promise and live like He does have a really good plan for me, because I know it's true. So, we're so excited about this song. It's a fun song because I think it's a great reminder that, hey, even when you feel like you're even further from the waiting season, life's knocked you down, whatever, like God's got something really good for all of us, So stand on that and believe in that. And I believe you'll start to see your situation and your circumstances change.
I'm loving the song because the tempo is fun, but when you really start digging in to the lyrics, it's powerful.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I try to be intentional with that. I love making fun music and even progressive, left of center from what, Christian music normally would do. Stuff that I've done in the past, I love pushing that forward. But man, the Bible is what we have. The Bible and Holy Spirit to help us navigate the world. And so I try my best to include as much as I can, as much truth as I can, even disguised in a fun pop song. Those who have ears to hear will know what I'm saying, but those who maybe don't might just enjoy a fun pop song and get Jesus juked in the middle of it. So that's what I feel like my job is.
It's like, I'm going to put a message in there. You're not going to see it coming, but here you go.
Sneaky. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it because my kids in the back of the car, as we go back and forth to school, they are enjoying your music, and they have no idea that it's truth that's getting embedded in their hearts on the way to school, on the way back to school, on the way to soccer practice.
Yeah.
But that is the truth that's going to sustain them. That's what matters.
Man, kids are sponges, aren't they?
Truly.
Like, we realized so early, my girls, like, they know every Disney princess song that was ever written. They're 3, so we were kind of like, maybe we should like throw some VeggieTales in occasionally, or like, something with some substance. We love Disney, but so we started doing that, and it's amazing the scriptures they already know. Like, it's amazing. So yeah, don't underestimate what your kids can learn.
True.
Yeah.
All right, I want to learn a little bit more about you.
Okay.
With our disco ball of fun. Holla, holla.
Okay, so
sorry, I was trying to do.
You nailed it.
We had a band thing going.
We
guys.
did. Starting a band.
I'm a backup singer tonight. You just wait. Okay, so my friends and I have come up with some hard-hitting questions. Think Barbara Walters. Not that far. No, nothing like that. I'm not going to make you cry. Maybe. I want you to dig in here and get me a good question. But if it's a question that you want to do the fun card of reverse, you can reverse it back to me.
That's fantastic.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. I am quite nervous about this. Okay. Ooh, okay. This one doesn't seem too bad. What do you do when you're feeling insecure? The first thing that I do is I probably think too much on it, and I get in my feels about it. But whether it's through my time with Jesus or even time around my wife is so good about just knowing, like, man, this is the job we got to do, and like, let's just hunker down and get it done. I think it was Teddy Roosevelt who said comparison is like the thief of joy. And so for me, it's when I'm scrolling and I'm seeing even what my friends are doing. I'm like, oh man, that's so cool. They got to do that, or awesome. Their song, did this, or, whatever. I start to compare, and that's when I start to feel insecure and whatever. And it's like, oh, God, you've got a specific plan for me. You've got a lane carved out for me that's different than their lane and from your lane and whatever. So I just need to run my race as best as I can. So it's reminding myself again of what God has laid out in front of me. Yeah.
Cool. I love that.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder. I needed to hear that. Thank you for telling me that truth.
Number 2.
Dun, dun, dun.
What is your current passion project is the question. I feel like being a dad and my kids are like my current passion project. Before kids, and I would still kind of say this as well, I feel like I've been kind of living out passion project for the last 12 years of just getting to do music. I grew up with Christian music and can't believe that I get to now write and sing songs that help other people. So that kind of blows my mind on a daily basis. But the thing that has taken the number 1 spot is like being at home with my kids and knowing that I'm investing into them. And it's a big responsibility, but it's also so cool to know it's like, all right, they're hopefully seeing God in the way I'm treating them and loving them, and that's the goal, right? Is for them to experience Jesus and how me and my wife live our lives. So it's pretty stinking cool.
And 3-year-old, that's my favorite age.
Oh, it's so fun.
Oh, wait, Colton, I say this at every age. Like my oldest right now is 15. I'm like, 15's my favorite age. But but 3 is so special.
It is really special.
They can still fit on your hip, but they can talk and they can express themselves.
Oh yes, and they can share their opinions.
A couple of temper tantrums in there. Okay, you can't always look back in the past and think of the rosiness. Oh no, I'm scared. Which one did you pick?
I kind of want to get to know you too, so I might just throw this back at you.
Okay.
When is a time you have been brave? Uno reverse card.
Uno reverse card.
Uno reverse card.
Okay, do you want me to tell you? You want me to go deep?
Go deep. Yeah, let's do it. Let's just go there.
Okay. So I have dyslexia.
Okay.
Reading is very, very challenging to me.
Yeah.
But there are opportunities in life that come your way, and you just have to say yes.
Yeah.
And so I got a phone call to say, "Hey, Jules, would you be willing to do the news for the Joy FM?" Meaning, I have to read the news. And I don't know. I think my boss maybe forgot that I had dyslexia and hate to read. And so I had to be brave, and I had to say, okay, then if you're leading me, then you're going to provide.
Wow.
Right. So you have to think about Moses, where he would said that, like, I can't do that. I can't speak.
Yeah.
And then God said, okay, well then I'm going to bring somebody for you.
Yeah.
And so to me, it was being brave that, like, it's okay. I'm going to make a mistake. I'm gonna switch my words around. I'm not going to say things perfectly.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do my very best, and I'm going to swing for the fences.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be brave and trust God that He will show up.
That's so good. Like, two things come to mind with that. One is, I forget who said this, but being brave doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means that you're afraid and you saddle up anyway, right? Like, you do it anyway. And the second thing is, like, God doesn't want our how or our why. He just wants our yes. He just wants us to be willing, and He figures out everything else. Like, even when we can't see it, like, so when an opportunity comes and it's the right thing, just be willing, saddle up anyway, go into battle, get it done. And that's so good. I love that. I feel like we connected. We went to another level.
Another level.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't cry though, so that's good because of my makeup.
That's great. That's great.
And then we'll do the hair appointment later.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Got you.
Hey, Colton, I really appreciate this. This was
same.
I love getting to know you, and I really appreciate you putting out music that my kids can jam to, but more importantly, fall in love with Jesus.
Come on, praise God for that. Thank you you're in charge of the radio dial, so thank you as well.
Yes, right. Thanks for listening to another episode of Talk to Me on the Joy FM podcast. Here's what you're going to want to do if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any episodes. Thanks, and have a good one.